Now, from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
Off the top at 6, still following breaking news, a monumental demand by protesters in Norfolk, middle of downtown.
It's a controversy that even has the mayor listening to the issue that has been debated for years, now boiling over in light of the clashes in Charlottesville. Good evening to you. The controversy over Confederate monuments and marching in protest has made its way to Hampton Roads.
Yeah, downtown Norfolk is taking center stage tonight. Chopper 10 shows the crowd around that Confederate monument, something that has been talked about for a couple of years now without any movement, figuratively and literally.
Here's where we're talking about, among the tall buildings along East Main Street. 10 on your side is also on the ground.
And our Andy Fox starts our team coverage with what people there are saying. Andy?
Tom and Anita, at 5:30, we had people who were actually drawing on the monument, and the question was, is that defacing? We have found out from Norfolk Police it is not. It is not defacing because what was done here was done with chalk. Look at this drawing, chalk drawing that was done of Heather Heyer. And of course, they had a memorial service for her today. And her mother said, they tried to kill my child to shut her up. Well, guess what? You just magnified her. And that is true. Pictures of Heather Heyer here magnified her in that we are having all of these gatherings all across Virginia. And right here is that artist. That's what says his name is. And that, let me ask you something. That's a very beautiful drawing.
Yeah, thank you.
Why'd you draw it?
I drew it because I became inspired. You know, I was already inspired from just the story. You know, I feel like I needed to say more. You know, and I'm not a man of too many words, but I'm a man of speaking through my art. You know, so that's why I decided to come down here, bring my art.
And you have a studio, and his name is Dat Artist, and we appreciate that. Now, we're going to come right around here, and we have a little bit more going on over here. This is the microphone, of course, and everyone's been coming up here and saying things. So let me ask you something. Excuse me. Can you tell me why you're here today?
It needs to be taken down. This isn't love. They need to take it down. That's it.
Very good. Hey, and why are you here again? It's good to see you again. You were in Fredericksburg.
Charlottesville.
Charlottesville.
So yes, I was. I'm here as an anti-fascist who is very upset over our president and him bringing the garbage out of the sewers to work in his office.
Yeah. And of course you were in Charlottesville. Of course I know that. Thank you very much. And there's a beautiful chalk drawing of Heather Heyer right over there. You may want to take a look at that. So that is the latest here from Norfolk. And people gathering here, remembering what happened in Charlottesville, the terrible tragedy there. Everyone looking at what happened in Charlottesville. Everyone looking at what happened in Virginia. It was a terrible day for Virginia and the country on Saturday, spilling out right here. This is the fallout from that. Talking about what racism means to them and take down the Confederate monument. That's what they are arguing. That's the latest from Norfolk. I'm Andy Fox, 10 on your side.
And a peaceful gathering at that. Thank you, Andy. People at the monument this afternoon aren't the only ones wanting that monument to come down.
A petition is also online demanding that the memorial be removed. Anita, Tom, we talked with a lot of different people earlier today, and they all told us they would like to see the monument moved maybe to a museum or a historical site. Norfolk's Mayor Kenny Alexander also said he would like to see the monument moved to a cemetery, but other local leaders say it's not a simple issue. It's a symbol that's drawing mixed reactions in downtown Norfolk.
The statue is not the issue. I think it's the mentality of the people or the group that actually created the statue. So why be mad at the statue?
As people stopped and stared.
2017, it's really a shame that we have that.
Some even bringing signs, hoping to share a message of tolerance.
I don't want to erase history, but I also don't want to celebrate that part of it.
A group has organized an online petition, hoping they can work with local government to find a new home for the monument.
Our goal is not to remove it and get rid of it. We'd like to see it moved to a museum or a place where it can be discussed thoughtfully and understood.
City Councilwoman Andrea McClellan says she wants the discussion to begin, but Virginia has a statute that says local municipalities can't do anything to war monuments.
So effectively at the moment, there's nothing that we could do. That said, I think there is something we should do. I don't think the status quo is really the appropriate way going forward. I don't have a solution. I've asked for feedback from constituents.
The group that started the petition hopes they can turn the message into a symbol of inclusion, something that McClellan says lies in the heart of Norfolk.
I think what's special about Norfolk is that we are a very diverse community.
Like we have mentioned earlier, the mayor weighed in saying he'd like to see the monument moved. He sent a full letter to City Council saying it's time to re-examine the monument and its place in Norfolk. You can find the whole letter on WAVY.com. In Norfolk, I'm Marielena Valores, 10 on your side.
Thank you, Marielena. And another protest is scheduled for tomorrow at the Portsmouth Confederate Monument on High and Court Streets. Last night, we told you about Councilman Mark Whitaker's pitch to move the monument elsewhere. The monument has been standing at that particular location since 1893. There's a call from the top to take down Confederate monuments in North Carolina as well.
Governor Roy Cooper said that there are hundreds of monuments in the Tar Heel state. Half dozen of them are within the WAVY News 10 viewing area. The one in Windsor sits across from the courthouse on private property, but many of them are on government-owned land. Governor Cooper asked a state agency to find the cost and logistics for removing the ones on state-owned land and moving them to museums or historic sites.
Meanwhile, today in Charlottesville, nearly 1,000 people turned out to remember Heather Heyer. The 32-year-old woman was killed when a car rammed into a group of counter-protesters Saturday. Her parents said Heyer was a woman of conviction who believed strongly in speaking up for equality and justice. Her mother, who said that she'd much prefer to mourn in private, brought the crowd to its feet twice.
They tried to kill my child to shut her up. Well, guess what? You just magnified her. I'd rather have my child, but by golly, if I got to give her up, we're going to make it count.
Senator Tim Kaine also attended the memorial afterward. He called out the president for what he called a lack of moral leadership.
And our coverage of the clashes in Charlottesville and the Confederate Monument controversy continues on WAVY.com and our social media platforms. Also, NBC Nightly News. We'll have more on the fallout of President Trump's remarks on the controversy. That's coming up at 6:30.